7 Central African time it is. If you've just joined us, good morning. We go to Mali now here on Rise and Shine, where tensions are rising in that country. There's a 2-month-long fuel blockade imposed by Al-Qaeda-linked militants, and this has brought much of the capital, Bamako, to a standstill. Schools have closed, businesses are struggling, and diesel-powered electricity is in short supply. The group behind the blockade, Jama'at Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, or JNIM, has been operating outside the city. While analysts say it lacks the capacity to seize Bamako outright, its strategy of economic disruption is putting unprecedented pressure on the military government, raising fears of political instability and potential regional spillover across the Sahel. Today, we're joined by Dr. Folahanmi Aina, a security analyst and lecturer in political economy of violence, conflict and development at SOAS University of London, to help us understand what this crisis means for Mali and the wider region. Doctor, good morning and thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you. Good morning.
JNIM has been blockading fuel supply Bamako for 2 months now. What does this tell us about their strategy, their objectives, and the kind of power they yield?
Thank you very much once again. So JNIM is an Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist organization. It's the largest and the most formidable terrorist organization currently in Africa and the wider Sahel region. They've got about 6,000 to 7,000 fighters. They also use a very sophisticated weaponry and tactics during their operations, some of which includes the use of drones and also IEDs, improvised explosive devices. So significant strength, and there's military junts. The JNIM could use this as an opportunity, but greatest ability to hold on to
power. Triggering of another coup. As you say, it does remain to be seen, but how high are the stakes here? Some analysts have warned against that. They also say that JNIM does not yield enough capacity to completely capture Bamako, but they do have, or they have exerted pressure economically and psychologically on the military.
Yes, so JNIM does have significant capabilities, as I already mentioned. And yes, to some extent, they, in some communities where they yield influence through their influence operations, they may have some sympathizers. Whether or not they have sympathizers amongst the military is something I'm not completely sure of or aware of. But on the other hand, their ability to completely topple Bamako or overrun the entire state is not something they want right now. It's not something JNIM has expressed interest in. Like I already mentioned, their concern right now is to have their captured fighters released, and also to institute some form of Sharia law, but also to mention that because they are trying as much as possible to expand their revenue sources, the particular region where they have sieged, where they've launched this economic siege, which is the Kayes region, it's significant to note that that particular region has constitutes about 70% of Mali's gold production. So in many ways, amongst other things, it seems, it appears to be that JNIM has its eyes, on gold in Mali as a potential source of revenue, given, as we've already seen, that they started this economic sabotage about a month ago. And if you also notice, about a month ago, we've seen an increase, in the price of gold, even though it has also just started dropping again. So again, my understanding or my suspicion would be that JNIM is pretty much trying to expand its revenue sources and not necessarily interested in overrunning or overtaking the Malian state.
And Mali doesn't operate as an island. It is part of an alliance of Sahel regions with Niger and Burkina Faso. So what are the neighboring countries, especially those in this alliance, able to do to tackle this issue of JNIM? And do they have capacity?
Yes, so unfortunately, since the AES, the Alliance of Sahelian States, pulled out of ECOWAS, they have mostly pitch tents with the Eastern Bloc. And this has particularly been with countries such as Russia, Turkey, China, to essentially try to boost their military capabilities and also shore up their economic base. But unfortunately, their ability as a group to be able to tackle and address the mounting insecurity in the region is not looking promising. Primarily because even though they have tried to constitute an operational force, a joint operational force, this force would mostly lack the equipment, the resources, the training to go to address such a formidable force, such a formidable group as JNIM. Let's also be reminded that beyond JNIM, there are also other existing terrorist organizations within the region, some of which are ISIS affiliated. So it's not just JNIM that's the problem, but there are also many others. And even though also that the use of military tactics, even as an approach to solving insecurity, has had the intended consequence of contributing towards the protractedness of these conflicts, rather than actually addressing the underlying root causes, that
Yeah.
necessitate these conflicts in the first instance, such as socioeconomic issues, poverty, inequality, unemployment, and all of that. So the military aren't necessarily trained to address these issues. Rather, their focus would be more on yielding the big guns, which, as I already mentioned, has the unintended consequence of prolonging the conflict, unfortunately.
Dr. Aina, we're going to leave it there for today, but thank you again for your time and valuable insights.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Folahanmi Aina, security analyst and lecturer in political economy of violence, conflict and development at SOAS University of London, talking to us about the situation in Mali there, where a 2-month-long fuel blockade has been imposed by Al-Qaeda-linked militants and how that has brought much of the capital, Bamako, to a standstill.
From Cape to Cairo.